distinctive color. He was almost late this morning. He was stopped by a policeman for speeding down 436 at 75 miles an hour.
Whoa.
The officer asked him, "Why are you driving so fast?" Mitch replied, "If I don't hurry up and get to my Toastmasters meeting, I'll forget where I'm going." That's why we scheduled him first. Let's get Mitch up here and quickly before he forgets his speech called Lesson Learned.
Lesson learned.
What food goes great with that old ball game? You know, baseball. The song, "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," suggests, "Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack." Well, I suggest don't forget the hot dogs. I had one of the best hot dogs in Atlanta. Not at the stadium, but at the airport.
Wow.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests if you were here. It was at the airport because I had a chance to be with the great legend, Hank Aaron.
Wow.
Hank Aaron. That was a good hot dog. It was a chance encounter. We both had stopped at the same food court in between flights. I had the honor of spending a couple of minutes with him. It was great. If I had a couple more minutes, I would probably have told him this little baseball story. My love for baseball exploded in the summer after my 4th grade. My friends and I were bitten by the baseball bug. We loved the game. We had to play that game at least once a day. In fact, we loved it so much that we made our own baseball field in Victor Tugman's backyard. Our own private. As a batter, I was no Mickey Mantle, but I could bat left-handed and I could bat right-handed, and that was kind of fun. In the outfield, I enjoyed the center or left field position. I really liked to pitch the best. My love for the game was challenged severely in the 7th grade. It was another kind of chance encounter, like the one with Hank Aaron. We were playing softball outside in our gym class. Softball was not baseball, but it was a close second, so it was okay. The first error that I made was I failed to consider my height. When I was playing with all the neighborhood kids, I was one of the bigger boys. In junior high school, when I got there, most of the boys were considerably taller than I was. In fact, I was a meager 4'1". I was a shrimp. On that infamous day, I was assigned to play the first base position. It was a little outside of my comfort zone, but that's okay. I could do it. That was until I saw Dan Younger step up to bat. Dan was a 6-foot jock giant. His arms were as big as my legs. His legs, they were as big as my waist. Well, not this waist, I mean my 7th grade waist. Oh boy. Dan at the plate connected with the second pitch, and he started running. Fortunately, it was a shallow hit, and the center field kid grabbed that ball on the first bounce. Unfortunately, when he threw the ball to me, he made me step off the plate. Not in between first and second base, but in between first and home.
Uh-oh.
You see what's coming, don't you? I said, no problem. I just plant my feet and I'll tag Dan when he comes by. I saw Dan coming at me like a locomotive. He was like, he had a full head of steam and he was headed toward that first base station. And there I was, planted on his track. The last thing that I remember is his tree trunk legs churning towards me. Ooh, there goes my badge. When I came to, I could hardly breathe. I don't remember which was worse, the pain or the humiliation. I saw a group gathered around me, boys and girls. They had told me that Dan had kneed me and sent me flying, well placed in between my legs. I'm sure that if I had told this story to Hank Aaron, he would have laughed. And then he would have said, well, why didn't you just tag first base? You had the ball in your hand. Well, lesson learned. Never play first base.